All right, now we're in like high tier part 2. Honestly, pretty much all these characters in this tier I should mention are kind of results of DLC power creep, where like they were all top tier at some point, and they're still really solid. They're just not as solid as the broken shit. So starting off, we got Terry. This is the section of the tier list where like these characters are just very good but aren't broken. These are characters with like very good strengths and really don't have polarizing weaknesses generally, or if they do, their strengths are so insanely polarized and they kind of compensate for it. Terry might look out of place here, but I think this character is very strong. A really good CQC character that's super fast with lots of burst options that can also be kind of safe. Like down B from like high up is like plus on block. Like side B can be hard to punish for a lot of characters, right? Space dash attack is like low key hard to punish too. He has speed. He has great buttons up close, right? He jabs you, down tilts you, frame traps you for free. Auto turnaround's always busted. Can even combo with grabs. Our show game is not bad either. Then of course he has go as a mechanic, and it's like, damn. Like he is built to play his game so well. Added to the fact that his recovery, it is exploitable, but he has mix-ups on his recovery, so he's not super easy to edgeguard, although his recovery is the thing that holds him back the most for sure. Arguably maybe the range, but I don't think the range is a big issue, although it'd be nice to have some range on him. I guess the big issue is that he's kind of linear. Like he's forced to approach. He only has so many tools. Like the only like really tricky tool he feel like has is like neutral B is underrated right now, but that's fine. You should just go swinging and killing you at like sub 100. All right, next up, me Brawler. I know people about to look at this and go, why is me Brawler here? Bro, relax, relax. This character is obnoxious. He has like insane kill confirms, like actually like down throw, up air, up B kill confirms, even like up tilt, like up air, B, up. You just use somebody as a combo into vertical kill combos. Anything that sets something up vertically, he can kill off of pretty much at the right percents or get a lot of damage. But then he's absurdly fast. His frame data is good. His burst options are good. His hitboxes aren't that great, of course, but that's why you just play him very like evasive, as opposed to like running up and pressing buttons. He'll get in and kill you. He's also very to edgeguard. There, especially being a lingering move, means he ledge traps very well. And I think he's a very underrated character that if people played more would be a huge threat, but just no one wants to play a me character because it's a freaking me. In a game we could play as like Cloud, Sephiroth. Why would you play me Brawler? And now we got Lucina. So this is like the freaking standard, like day one, like vanilla swordy top tier, right? I think nowadays she's just like standard vanilla high tier swordy, like good hitboxes in every direction. And then you got okay stats everywhere. She gets the job done. But I think when she fights like the very broken shit, she's not broken. She just doesn't have any notable weakness besides being a little bit easy to like juggle, maybe because she's floaty and she's forced to approach versus projectile users. But honestly, it's just such a simple character. No super bad weaknesses, just solid swordy strengths. Should probably put over Shulk though, to be honest. So Shulk is like, you know, he's Mr. Potential the character. I think the big thing about this character that holds him back from being like a top tier, well, obviously his frame data is one, right? Got slower attacks, very reactable, very easy to play around if you know what you're doing. But also, his Monado arts, it's kind of like dealing with Olimar's Pikmin, where you see the Monado art and you know what he's going for. He's very linear. I feel like playing him is like an execution test in a lot of ways, because when you know what he's going for, you just gotta play around it. You know, you can still mix it up with like your speed art, run up grab, or something. Oh, your shield art, combo escape and to press buttons. Oh, you're at 6 and he went smash art. That's scary if you mess up even slightly. And you know, he has all these really safe attacks that you have to call him out to punish him. You have to call out when he's going to attack in order to intercept the attack or get a parry or something. Like unless he's using Buster Art, he's not doing much damage. He doesn't really have great kill options either. He's just entirely just swinging with really safe stuff or cheesing you with Monado bullshit. So that makes him really good, but it's also why he's not top tier and why he keeps falling as his results haven't been doing great lately. Next up, we got Daisy. So this character's definitely fallen off. I think she just really struggles with like a few like key top tiers because she handles most of the roster well. Great out show game, great, amazing combo game, right? Just dude, the Twitter clips for her combos always like, bruh. Turnips obviously is such a good tool. It forces approaches. It gives her openings. And the fact that float is like the best mechanic in the game for literally everything. She has some solid hitbox range as well with like forward air, back air, surprisingly decent dash attack. It's really just that when she's getting like cheesed out by characters with either really good zoning or really good at show game is when she struggles. The extremes of things like game watch up B out shield, min like swing with arms gives her a lot of trouble. I guess those things like Samus are difficult for her, Steve, Pyra, Mithra, like all that stuff. The characters with just zoning that's too oppressive for most of the roster is what holds her down. And that's why DLC really pushed her from being a top tier to a high tier. Because I think if you have a meta with just high, like, you know, the non-DLC characters, she's still top 10 character free. But they overtuned the DLC way too much for her. So Zero Suit Samus. This character has definitely fallen off over time. The nerf souls hurt her, of course, but she's so hard to hit. Very good at burst punishing as well. Like you whip something versus her, she's so fast. And the fact that her aerials are really good. Back here is really big and safe. Nair is great for combos and pretty safe, although it's kind of linear, so you can like parry her pretty easily. Forward air is a great rising aerial if your character is not really short. But short characters especially give her a lot of trouble. Let's go Olimar. And she also doesn't have the highest damage output. Like, unless she's hitting you with like up air ladders on platforms, down smash into something, which is more so setting up kills. But like her actual damage output isn't great. She relies a lot on edge guarding, and I think being reliant on edge guarding isn't good in Ultimate, just because a lot of characters have busted recoveries. And then her ledge trapping is pretty subpar. She's mostly just winning neutral with a lot of small hits over and over, which she's so good at it and so good at escaping disadvantage that works out. But being unable to generally push a lot of damage and kills easily is what holds her back. All right, we got Samus. Samus is really strong until she runs into the matchup she's not good in. Like, you run into a short character with Samus, or you run into a fast character with Samus, and I think it's very hard. I think just she's big and she's floaty, and she's very like linear, and her main strength lies in her ledge trapping. After doing neutral with like, you know, a pretty solid neutral with charge shot, Zaire, grab, dash attack, fair is good. She has a lot of good buttons. I always, when I think about Samus, I'm always like on paper, you know what, she's amazing. But I just remember in practice that her frame data means that when she whiffs one of her buttons, it's pretty easy to open her up, so she's not able to swing a lot, and then she's not particularly mobile either, so sometimes she's trouble positioning for a good spot to swing from. Add to the fact that some characters that can just ignore the ledge or deal with her charge shot very well is just a huge problem for her, because her strengths really lie in her like grounded neutral and her ledge trapping, and you end up having a character that is really good, even matches well into a lot of the top tiers, but also has a lot of matchups like Olimar or Steve that are really hard. And especially when you're like really bad for Steve, and Steve is the most common character in the game now, one of the most. I think it's rough. I think she could honestly be top tier over time. I just need to see her have a way to overcome like those difficult matchups. I can see myself putting her in top tier like next year if Sisuke starts putting in work with her or something. All right, Mario. He's kind of like Ness, where I think for a lot of time people were like, you know, he gets out space, that's kind of a big deal, he can't get it in neutral. But then in reality, it's like, you know what, he's small, great at shield, he hits you once and potentially kills you because he's piece of shit broken bullshit. And then Fireball is a great approach tool, right? I've always mentioned that, always will. Smash attack set pretty safe, and it's like his only weakness really is he has trouble approaching a neutral, and it's not even that big of weakness. Like, he still has tools for it with his mobility, show game, Fireball, and then you just have all these strengths of good recovery, solid like landing game, hard to ledge trap actually, cape is nice, Flood is nice. Ridiculous combos that can kill early and do a lot of damage. I could just keep going on and on. His back air is low-key just a projectile. He legitimately is only not top tier because of his neutral and then, well, DLC. Game Watch, similar state to Mario, to be honest. He has everything you want to carry. Up, shield. Fair pressure, stupid. So you're not edge guarding his recovery. His ledge trapping is actually broken with Chef. But then, it's not even so much the neutral generally as it is the neutral versus sorties. Because despite all these things, Sortie is able to really play around his range, and he's so light that he's unable to take random hits from sorties. And I think sorties, like, a lot of times sorties aren't the best combo game, but they're good at just kind of landing these straight hits. And a character as his Game Watch just dying to straight hits, it holds him back super hard. Especially when you have characters like Steve and Pyramithra everywhere, or Cloud as well. And those characters are in particular so hard for him because he, like, even versus top tiers, he handles stuff like Fox well, Roy well, Wolf, right? But then, like, it's too easy to bracket check him. Like, his poor approach options, especially here with his very defensive playstyles, that, like, abuse the fact that Game Watch's jump-ins and stuff are just too linear. And sometimes he has to play a bit too risky to get in. Still really good. And honestly, I feel like I'm almost, like, overemphasizing weaknesses aren't really that bad. Now Min. She is top of high tier, but not top tier in my opinion. It just always ends up being, she's not really a solo viable character. We all know, she just does this and she's winning the neutral versus most characters. Most characters just don't have an answer for mashing mindlessly. It's really dumb. The characters that do have an answer for that, characters that can just get in her face. Huge problem, right? Because our show game, not that great. She has to take like high risk options like her up smash. Generally struggles there. Characters that can play around their arms, like good air mobility. Shit like, you know, Wario, even like Puff, Yoshi, can be hard for her. Finally, her disadvantage state, right? Especially in a game with so much combos. So many characters able to send you off stage far horizontally off simple hits. It really hurts. Add to the fact that, like, so her recovery's poor. You know, ledge game, she's not good at ledge either. She's not good at landing from a juggle. Despite her having a disgusting neutral and really strong advantage state too. Like her edge guarding, her ledge trapping, everything is great. She's not able to make mistakes. And sometimes when you hit with her, you're not getting big damage, or if you hit, just a lot of pokes. So sometimes she's also struggling to really rack up damage or even kills due to the nature of like just how linear her hitboxes can be sometimes. With that said, she is the best secondary in the game to have. Like if you need a counterpick character, she does beat most of the roster pretty easily. So she is the perfect character as a counterpick, especially at not top level. I think at top level, she especially struggles and falls off, but anything below top level, I think she's like a perfect like noob check and mid-level player check. Alright, and with that said, that is the second half of the high tiers. In the next video will probably be the last one, just going through all the top tiers.